So guys, in this week's official dev briefing, we got our first real in-depth look at the next map that's going to be coming to Hell Let Loose in November with update 4, Sainte Mere Eglise. And obviously, there's going to be a lot to talk about in this video, so guys, this is BillyEatWorld again, and let's find out. Alright, so to kick off, I've got to say I'm pretty excited about this map because it looks like it's going to be completely different from anything we've seen before, because it's, quote, the largest urban map to be added so far to Hell Let Loose, which is something I think we've desperately needed in this game. It's also apparently, quote, a faithful one-to-one recreation of the location made famous by the D-Day paradrop landings in and around the town. And you might remember that the devs did the same sort of thing when they designed the Omaha beach map. So that's really good news if you're looking for that authentic World War II experience. Now, we don't have a tactical map for Sainte Mere Eglise yet, but in this week's dev briefing, the devs did give us a quick rundown of what it's going to be like. Apparently, the town itself is going to take up the middle 3 sectors and will, quote, be dominated by the enormous church at its center, which will force both teams to engage in intense street-to-street combat. Now, obviously, that's going to make vehicles much more vulnerable to infantry AT weapons and mines, and CQB weapons like the SMG should be really powerful on this one. But if you are a vehicle player, well, don't worry, because apparently the fields outside the town will have, quote, more dramatic height differences for armored units to command dominating positions and reign supreme. Now, that's about all the info we have on the new map itself. But the question is, why are we getting a map based on Sainte Mere Eglise in the first place? Well, obviously, it's not as iconic as Omaha Beach, but it's still pretty historically significant because it was actually one of the first French towns captured by the Americans on D-Day. American paratroopers, mainly of the 505th Parachute Infantry Regiment of the 82nd Airborne, they dropped into the town in the early morning hours of June 6, 1944. And a number of men even managed to land in the square of the church I mentioned earlier itself, where they encountered very stiff German resistance. Probably the most interesting story of the battle, though, is of an American paratrooper called John Steele, who dropped on top of the church and managed to get stuck on its tower. And he apparently hung there for about 2 hours, and he played dead while the battle raged below, until eventually he was captured by the German forces. The craziest thing about this story, though, is that afterwards he managed to escape and he rejoined with the rest of the 505th, who later went on to capture the town. And in the attack, he apparently killed 11 German soldiers and captured 30 more, for which he was awarded the Bronze Star for bravery. But anyway, hopefully you can see now, even though the capture of Sainte Mere Eglise probably wasn't as iconic as the landings at Omaha Beach, it was still a pretty important event in the Normandy campaign. And in saying that, it'll be interesting to see if the devs are going to give a nod to the fact that this was an airborne assault in the game mechanics themselves. For Omaha Beach, they did add in the Higgins boats, so it makes me wonder if maybe they'll add in some kind of paradrop mechanic for the US forces to spawn in on the initial sectors, or at the very least, and obviously this is just speculation, there's no info on this just yet, hopefully they'll add in some US paratrooper cosmetic options, so at least we can look the part if we don't actually get to parachute in. But anyway, guys, that just about wraps up this quick update video. So as always, make sure you let me know what you think in the comment section down below. What do you guys think of Sainte Mere Eglise? Do you think this is a good new addition to the game? And what other sort of locations would you like to see in future updates? As always, though, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and please feel free to check out the links in the description if you want to see any more of these videos. And also, don't forget you can find my Twitter and Discord links down there as well if you want to keep in touch. And as always, until next time, see you later, and have a good one.